Hello dear viewers, welcome to my new sewing channel which is dedicated to sewing traditional clothes worn by women in South Asia. In this video we will learn to make a gharara for a 2-year-old. Stay till the end and learn how to plan, draft and sew a gharara. You need basic equipment for the process. The material I have taken has a width of 40 inches and it is 2.5 meters. I've taken some bright pink satin material for the gharara and the tunic. I've chosen satin because of its shine and its drape. This is an image of a 2-year-old and remember at this age they are very active and the garment should not be a trip hazard. You need the measurements for the waist round. This is for the size of the elastic band. You need the hip round only for reference as the garment must be very loose. Next, you need two important measurements for the length. One is from the top of the waist to the top of the knee, and the next is from the top of the knee to 1 inch above the sole of the foot. You need to keep the gharara a little short so the child does not trip over the hem while running around. I'm going to use some standard measurements. However, children come in all sizes, so measure your child to have the correct size. The measurements I have taken are waist round is 18 inches and the elastic will be 16 inches long. The hip round is 20 inches and I will be adding a lot of ease. Length from the waist to above the knee is 10 inches and there is no ease. And the length from the top of the knee to the sole of the foot is 9 inches. Again, there is no ease here. Now let us identify the different parts of the gharara, how they should be measured, drafted, cut and sewn. The topmost part is the waistband or the naifa, which contains a drawstring or elastic. The middle part is the leg piece, traditionally called the pancha, and the bottom part of the leg is called the goat. The waistband and the leg piece are to be cut on the straight grain, while the bottom piece is drafted and cut on the bias. So unlike a trouser, the leg part is cut in two different parts and two different methods. The waistband will be 33 inches width and 3.5 inches long. The 3.5 inches will be to encase the elastic band. The upper leg is 20 inches by 10 inches and the goat will be 31 inches wide and will be 11 inches long. Now we go to the part where we cut the fabric. First we measure and then cut. First we will draft the waistband. For a toddler, the width will be twice the width of the hip round. No need for adding seam allowance. The length is 3.5 inches to accommodate a 1 inch wide elastic band. The elastic band will be 16 inches, i.e. 3 inches smaller as compared to the waist round measurement. Measure and cut one piece of the waistband. Next, we will cut two pieces of the pancha or the upper leg. Each piece will be 20 inches into 10 inches. 20 inches is the width and 10 inches is the length. No extra seam allowance is to be added in the width. From the inner side or the open side of the two pieces, cut the crotch, which will be 7.5 inches long and 2 inches wide. Keep the cutting very shallow and not deep. This is the goat and is cut on the bias. We can cut bias with different ways, but one method I have suggested here has the advantage of using less material. But you can choose some other method which you are comfortable with. Just make sure that the measurements are as recommended because you do not want a very voluminous goat which can lead to the weight of the garment and making it difficult for the child. Okay, now we come to the fabric. This is the naifa or the waistband which has been joined together at the ends and the markings are made into 4 quarters for facilitation of the attachment to the upper leg or the pancha. This is a picture of the pincher, and this too is cut on the straight grain or along the selvage. Take a piece of cloth 20 inches wide and 10 inches long. Fold it half lengthwise, and as you can see in the image here, you can see that this is the folded edge and this is the open edge, and this is the length of the pincher and this is the width of the pincher. So we make the marking for the crotch. It's 2 inches here and 7.5 inches in length, and then we make a marking before cutting the crotch. So as you can see, this is very shallow. This is not deep. It's very shallow. Make it as shallow as possible, which will make it easier for the child to walk around. Here the crotch has been cut away. Again, as you can see very clearly, this depth is shallow and not very deep. Here the two pinchers have been joined together, first of all individually on the leg seam, which is right here, and then the crotch has been joined together in the middle. So this is the upper end, which will be joined to the kniffer or the waistband, and this is the lower end, which will be attached to the goat or the lower part of the leg. This is a view of the inside of the pincher. As you can see, the edges on the crotch, a zigzag stitch has been made to control the fraying of the garment. And here this is a felt seam on the inner part of the leg, again to control the fraying of the fabric. You can use any method to encase the seams on the inner side to prevent fraying and to prevent the threads from hanging. But in this particular video, I have used very simple plain zigzag stitch and felt seams. Okay, so we go back to the kniffer, which has to be joined to the, and before joining, we will make markings on the kniffer. And so this is the width, and in the width, we have made these markings. This is the vertical marking on this side and the other side of the kniffer, and one on this side. So we have divided it into 4 equal parts, and similarly, it has to be attached to the upper end of the pincher, and that too has to be marked so that there is good connection and there's no bunching. Okay, so this is the upper end of the pincher, and I made 2 tiny pleats here because when I joined them up together, I found that there was a little bit of excess on the pincher as compared to the kniffer. So I just made these 2 tiny pleats. Whenever you make pleats in the pincher, you must always make them towards the center of the garment and not towards the side. This is true for all ages, even for adults. These gatherings are made on the inside of the garment when you are attaching it to the waistband. So here the waistband has been attached to the upper leg or the pincher, and as you can see, the elastic has also been encased in this waistband, and I put a zigzag stitch through in the middle just to stabilize the elastic so that it doesn't turn over when the child is wearing it. Okay, now we go to the goat or the lower part of the leg piece, and so as I mentioned before, you can do this kind of cutting for a bias with different methods. The method I'm showing here is to make 2 squares. One square is 24 inches by 24 inches and the other square is 18 inches by 18 inches. So this corner here is joined together with this corner here, and so that this side is joined to this side, and just pin it up so that you can stabilize the garment. So you will be left with a kind of a triangular fabric which is folded on itself. Now this fold here is going to be the bias edge, which is going to provide the effect of the lower part of the Gharara, which the draping and the swelling effect on movement. And so this is one edge and this is the other edge. So this perpendicular line is 11 inches and this is the length of the goat. So once you have folded it over, pinned it up, you then cut on the edge here, and then you cut here, and then you get 2 pieces, one on either side. Now and this is also cut right in the middle, diagonally, and you get two triangles. One triangle is here and the other triangle is here. This will become like a gusset for the goat. So so this side is 18 inches, this side is 18 inches, and this side is the bias edge in the middle. And what you do then is that when you see the 24-inch square cut, you find that you get a piece like this and like this. So then from the 18-inch triangle, you get a piece like this. So this piece has to be attached to this piece to make it into a nice tubular piece, which is going to be the goat. So as you can see here, this triangular piece has been attached in the middle, and now this whole thing has now become tubular form. And this is going to be so this edge where the triangle that has been attached, the point of the triangle is that it remains at the top edge, and the other edge remains at the bottom edge. So here I'm showing you a very raw image, and once you've done that, then you can just trim off the excess just to make sure that everything is lined up nice and easy. So now you have a piece here which is around about 31 inches, and this is roughly 1.5 inches the circumference of the lower end of the pancha. This is very important because this is how the Gharara is hung onto the body, where gradually the circumference of the different pieces increases, making it into a very beautiful garment which moves when the child moves. Okay, this is showing you just the inside of where the triangle was attached to show that again a zigzag stitch has been used to control the fray of the seams. Okay, now so now we've already put together the pancha by stitching it together, the two legs together, and we've already attached the naifa or the waistband to the pancha, and now we have to finish the bottom part, the goat, before attaching it to the pancha or the leg. So here, we've attached this triangular piece here, which is going to come to the top, and then the bottom end has to be stitched, which is going to be the hem of the garment. So as you can see, I've just pinned it up all around before stitching it. Okay, so now this has been stitched, and this is a fuzzy picture, but you can see that it's been stitched and ironed. Okay, now we have to attach the goat to the pancha. And so the first thing that you have to do is you have to make some markings. This is the innermost side of the pancha, and you have to make a marking 2 inches on this side and 2 inches on this side. And similarly, on the goat, you have to, where you're going to attach this to the pancha, you have to make a marking of 2 inches here and 2 inches here. The purpose of putting these markings is that when you attach this piece to this piece, then this small piece right in the inner part of the leg will not have any gathering. So this is one of the principles of putting together a Gharara, that the inside of the leg does not have any gathered fabric, and this is to prevent bunching of the fabric and to restriction of movement when the person walks. So once these markings have been made, and when these two are put together, there will hardly be any gathering here. In an older person, there may be some gathering when the circumference of this part is larger. There may be some gathering. But this is just a child where we are trying to minimize the volume so that it is easy for the child to walk. So this marking has been made. Next, we will do some marking on the rest of the upper border, and these are some pins which have been attached, dividing this part from here to here into 4 parts. So 1, 2, and 2 at the back. And similarly, we have some markings here, so one marking here, which is the 2-inch marking on this side also. And then the rest of this is divided into 4 parts, and these 4 parts are going to be attached accordingly. Okay, so again showing the 4 inches. And here you have the attached piece, where you can see that this part has got no gathering, which is right towards the inner part of the leg, but this part has gathering. I've used small tiny pleats. You can do it your way. Some people like to machine sew in a large stitch and then gather it and then fix it accordingly, and some people just like to do it by hand. they do a gathering stitch, and they gather up the fabric, and then they match it to the upper part and then just stitch it accordingly. But I've just, because it's a small circumference, small Gharara for a small baby, and so I've just I pinned it up and I just stitched it together. So as you can see, this line here represents the triangle that we attached to the goat, and you can see it fits so nicely. And this part here is the inner part of the upper leg. This is the crotch area, and this is the rest of the thing. And this is the entire garment finished. So you can see how the volume is increasing. So in adults, these volumes increase significantly, much more as compared to in a child. But you can see as we go down, the circumference is increasing, and this is what causes the movement, the graceful movement. When the person is walking, the garment will move with the person gracefully, and making it look really beautiful. Here I've added a tunic to the Gharara, and put some gota on top, some gota flowers, and some simple gota lace here, and it's looking just beautiful. So just a few comments. This method of measuring, drafting, cutting would be suitable for a child from 2 years to 4 years. In an older child going on from 5 years, the cutting will be slightly different. You can pick up different materials for the garment, but suitable materials are woven and not knit fabrics. Cotton fabrics are an excellent choice, as you can get more variety and more colors. Children also find cotton very comfortable, and it can be washed again and again. For embellishment, you can use anything or make your own. The next video will be making a Gharara for a 5-year-old. Please give your comments, questions, or requests. Subscribe to the channel, tap the like sign, share and press the like bell icon to get notified about more videos. So I hope this video inspires you to make something extraordinary out of the ordinary. Happy sewing, goodbye, and thank you.